Well, welcome today. We're going to be taking care of some eggs. Now, I always get a lot of questions sent to me about how do we handle the eggs and what's the procedure and how you set up basically your snake cages. And I mean, I've shown you guys this many times and I'm happy to show you again. So today we've got a clutch of eggs from this female here. As you know, I do keep breeding cards, so I know which males, females, when they produce some awesome looking babies. And this is basically the set out I use for the big girls. So the girls that I'm expecting eggs from, this is the set out. Water bowl at the front, obviously devoid of water at the moment, because in that last week when they're getting close to laying eggs, you know, I have had a couple of females actually sit in the water and lay eggs in the water, which means the whole clutch is destroyed, and that's pretty devastating. You know, there's a lot of energy that these females expend in producing eggs, and when it gets dumped in the water, they're gone forever. Now, at the back of the box, now I put in a lay box. Now this lay box this year I've decided to use vermiculite again, and then I put the hides inside those boxes. Now, in times of old, I've actually used the hides and I've turned them upside down. We've used sphagnum moss, I've used vermiculite, perlite combinations, all sorts of stuff. Now, the reason why I'm using vermiculite now, it's just a personal choice. It's nice, quick and easy. It's a very sterile product, which means I can put it in there, mix it up, chuck it in, and I know there's not going to be a problem. So today, this female that's in here has laid a nice clutch of eggs, and I always like to look in the little hive there, and you can see the females pulled right back into a nice tight, and I like to call it like a beehive. And look at that, what a gorgeous mama. She's got a nice, decent sort of clutch of eggs there. Now, for those people that don't know, this is a marbled children's python. It's one of the few ant morphs that's starting to become very popular in the hobby, and you can see why. They're absolutely gorgeous animals. Now look at that, she's laid a really whopping clutch there. She's done really good. What a good mama. So typically what we do is we weigh the females before we mate them. Then what I do afterwards is what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to take the eggs off the mama, hopefully. I'm going to take the eggs off the mama, weigh the eggs so I can see how much of her body mass she's put into egg production. And then I'm going to weigh the female, and then we can do a little bit of a calculation and see how much energy she's expended in producing this egg mass. And I always keep records of it because I'm a bit of a nut when it comes down to that sort of stuff. And you can see how she's continually wrapping and hugging the eggs, and she's keeping them all together. Now what happens is when the eggs come out, they're quite slimy. These guys are nice and fresh, they're nice and dry. And what happens is they will adhere to each other, so they will glue to each other basically. And when the female clusters them up like that, they all stick together, and that really makes it nice and good for the whole thing that we're going to be doing. Now, you can see what a gorgeous mama. She's done a really good job, and she will be rewarded. Unfortunately, like everything, you know, whenever you need things, they always seem to, you know, never do what you want them to do. And why should today be any different with a set of scales? So scales are on, and these scales are pretty good. You know, they're really good. They're within 0.1 of a gram. That's right, 0.1 of a gram for my American friends. So the best way to handle females with eggs is basically you just sort of scoop them up. So you scoop them up in a big chunk, and hopefully the female just sort of keeps hanging onto the eggs. Now you've got to remember to try and get your fingers underneath, because if all the eggs haven't adhered together, one of the eggs is going to pop out from underneath there and catch you off guard. And we don't want to do that. Now dropping eggs is quite devastating. It will destroy the whole clutch. Now, as you can see, she's wound around there really well. She's done really good, haven't you, mama? And you can peel her off nice and slow and gentle, and she'll continue to try and wrap. Now, as you can see down here, see these discoloured eggs, a little bit different shape? They're slugs. Now, watch what will happen. Is when I pick this clutch up, these slugs will not be glued or attached to the main set of eggs, and if they are, they'll come off really easy. And they're always slightly smaller and deformed. Look at that. It's almost like I knew what was going to happen then. That was crazy. So then I'll take the slugs as well. Now look at this. Look how much sunken poor mama is. Look how much energy she's put into producing a clutch of eggs so that she will be able to pass on her genes to the next generation. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? But don't worry, she'll fill out real quick. Now, I always like to do this, just make sure mama. So if there's an egg that's stuck in the oviduct, or it might be slightly larger and she can't pass it, it will cause a blockage. That can cause some serious issues. If there's eggs that are stuck inside her, that can cause issues obviously as well. Long term, they will basically start to break down, rot, cause and septicemia, you know, really horrible sort of stuff. Now she's nice and empty, poor girl. Now I'll be giving her some water shortly, and she'll be getting some food real quick, and she'll start gaining her body weight back up. So, as you know, I use my card system here. We've got 151.8 grams. Look at that, 151.7 to 151.8. Makes a liar of me. 151.7 is what we're going to write. So 151.7 grams. Whoops, 151.7 grams. Geez, I can't even. And then what we do, and I mean, you see a lot of people do this, they mark the top of the egg. So I'm going to pick the eggs back up again, make sure there's no duds under the egg, and see that? That's the reason why we use vermiculite. It all comes off pretty quick and easy, and leaves us nice clean eggs. Now that is a bumper haul right there.
You're all over the place.
Yeah, I know. So usually I just write on top of the eggs, and I just number them as I go. That way I won't lose count. It does happen. I always put a line under the 9s and the 6s. Otherwise you might last 12. Number 13 is down there. Number 14 is down there. That's right. Number 15 is down there. So there's 15 beautiful viable eggs. Now I'm using the sim tubs, which is a suspended incubation method. Hence the word sim, S-I-M. So basically what it is, you can have water or gel or foam or anything you like underneath there. And basically the suspended method means that the eggs aren't actually touching the incubation medium, which could be, like I said, gel or perlite or vermiculite or whatever else we want to use. Now we've got these 3 slugs. It's very important that we count those because that's energy that's gone into production there. There's 3 slugs, and that's 15.9. And like I said, there was 15 viable eggs. Absolutely blistering clutch right there. Beautiful girl. She did absolutely great. Now, what we're going to do is basically taking all the information. I'm going to take the female before I feed her and weigh her. Write that information on here as well so we can get those accurate details of what we're going to do. Now, as the season heats up and we're producing more and more eggs, I'll keep you guys informed, and we'll be talking a little bit more about egg care and handling and neonate care, which is hatchling care and all the rest of that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Make sure you give us a like, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Until next time, thanks so much for watching CrittaCam.